All right. Okay. Hey, everyone. So I'm super excited to have Shlomo on today, who to me is a mentor in my journey with consciousness, because the content that I found on Shlomo's channel really helped me put consciousness into practicality and realize that, is that really me that's manifesting everything? And it's not the angels and the gods high above that are giving to me because I'm praying really hard. So um, I guess I'll let you introduce yourself and let's just talk about consciousness and have an open conversation.
Okay, so I'm Shlomo, as you said, and I think that where the door or the window into who I am and what I do is YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So if anybody types Shlomo Friedman on YouTube, not on Google, I'm not there yet, but on YouTube, it will pop up and then you can see my videos. And what I really do, I am trying to, not trying, I will, empower people to realize that their ability to create a reality is almost unlimited. And yeah, so go ahead.
So, so to create reality, when you say it's unlimited, does that play into consciousness? And if so, how?
Well, you know, we can go into physics because that's what people understand most. I mean, people like you said, people like some substance to hold on before they can go into anything spiritual, because this is all virtual, right? So, you know, in quantum physics, there is this experiment. It's probably the most famous experiment ever. It's called the double slit experiment, right? And it's been going on for 150 years, and there is still no explanation why it happens that way. And you know, just to, in a nutshell, what the experiment does, it takes a particle, a photon or any particle, right? And keep in mind that particles are actually the building blocks of everything that we experience in this reality. Everything in this universe is made of particles, at least according to science, okay? So in this experiment, they take a particle and they shoot it onto a screen, and there is two possibilities. It either hits the screen as a particle, which is matter, and then you see, like, as if you threw a blueberry on a wall, you will see where it hit, right?
Yeah.
And the second possibility is that it will turn into a wave, and what you will see on the wall will be kind of a wave interference shape. And a wave really means nothing to us, okay? Mm-hmm. If the whole world was waves, you wouldn't see anything, because we don't see waves. We only see matter. Mm-hmm. A wave is like a radio wave. You don't see it unless you have the proper receiver, right? So it turns out that if a conscious human is observing that particle while it's going, it will always hit the wall as a particle. It will be matter, regardless how they observe it, through instruments, whatever. As long as somebody observes it, any human consciousness, it will be a particle. If nobody observes it, it will hit the wall as a wave. It will not be matter. So in essence, what it says, and this is science, I think, kind of doesn't want to say that because it goes into a territory science has no control over. But to me, what it says is that human actually creates everything that exists by looking at it, by observing it, by being aware of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. It would be a wave, which is really nothing. Yeah. So what it means, like one example, it means that if there were no human beings on this planet, there would be nothing. There would be no planet, because there would be nobody to observe it.
Right.
Okay. So if you look at it from that perspective, it means that you create everything. The particles are Lego blocks. They are all over, everywhere. And you, with your consciousness, arrange them into different shapes, into people, into dogs, into whatever, right? So that's the ultimate reality creating, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But if you want to look at it in a more practical way, is look at your life. Where you are today is 100% a cause of what you were thinking in the past. There's absolutely nothing that the house you live in, the people you know, how you look, what work you do, or what, anything you do today at this very moment, you were thinking about in the past. Yesterday or a year or 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. Okay? So what it also means that everything that is going to happen tomorrow will be from you thinking about it. So that's, again, you create your reality, right? It's not like visible. It's not like you can do something and see it immediately. But this is how it works. It's like a slow motion thing, right? You put the input in there, and what you get on the other side is your reality. Even the whole world today, as it stands, except maybe the continent that got moved by some powers, into place, everything in this world is created by humans. Mm-hmm. Everything. There's absolutely nothing that's not created by humans here. Everything that we experience in this reality, in this world, is created by humans. Now, I'm not talking about trees and mountains, okay? This is the stage that we receive to create that reality on. But everything else, whatever you do today, how you travel and how you eat and how you sleep and whatever, everything is created by humans over time. Mm-hmm. So then how can you say that we don't create reality? Right? Take it from the other side. You cannot really dispute that.
Yeah.
You cannot say that it's all random.
No. So I have an example of what you're saying, and it was from a vlog that you did, and you had said, describe the word Messiah or something like that. So I was in a time crunch that day. I had watched your vlog, and I really wanted to I wanted to write back. So I started writing, but I just didn't have enough time. So I left. And I went to go pick up my friend because we were going out for dinner. And, I was waiting in her driveway, and she still hadn't come out yet. And something told me, just turn around for 1 second. And I turned to my left, looked over, and the word Messiah was on this person's license plate. So I just thought, to me back then, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a synchronicity. I can't wait till in the morning. I'm going to write back. I'm supposed to be writing back. See, the thing is, I still thought synchronicities were the divine pulling down and saying, yes, you need to write back. But then the conversation that we had, even in that log of conversations, you asked, okay, what does synchronicity mean to you? So can you tell me, in that sense, consciousness and synchronicity, how you would describe it?
Okay. So I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
You got involved with this video and you were going to write something because of the Messiah, right? And Messiah was the thing. And you walked out and there was the Messiah on the license plate. And you call it synchronicity. Yeah. Okay. So what it really means that the person with that car hours ago, or maybe yesterday, already planned to go and be there for you to see the license plate. So how can this be synchronicity? Are you saying that reality started to plan it from yesterday, that you will start something with the Messiah and then you will walk out and it will have that car there? Like, where did the car come from? It has to be planned in advance, right? Some synchronicities, they cannot happen unless it was planned maybe a month ahead. And to go and say, reality or God or whatever you want to call it is doing all this just so that I get that synchronicity, doesn't make any sense. So there's two other explanations. One of them is far-fetched, and I'll tell you what it is. One of them, the far-fetched one would be that your memory of everything that happens is installed in you continuously. So that whatever you think happened 5 minutes ago didn't really happen. It just is put into your mind continuously for you to feel that it happened. That's a possibility, because if reality is created all the time, then in that reality, maybe your memory is also created all the time. But that's far-fetched, okay? So the other explanation is that you, because you are connected and spiritual, and you have this is all your consciousness. It's not your earrings or anything. It's your consciousness, right? Same as in that experiment. It's your consciousness that does it, right? Mm-hmm. So your consciousness, because it's connected, has influence over the mechanism that creates reality. And you created that car there, right, by creating that reality. It wasn't planned ahead. Okay, that's hard to swallow, because you say, oh, well, wasn't that car there before I walked out? Like, no. You create your reality continuously, every second. And it can change every second. You know, every second you can have a totally different reality. It's just that how it works is that our minds, stitch it all together and it looks a continuum. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of pictures going through like 1 million every second. And, to us, again, the brain is stitching it. Same as the brain will connect, like if you know those different puzzles, that there is a letter or something inside some puzzle, but your brain picks on it immediately. You see it. It's because the brain is programmed that way to always try to make sense of things and put them in a context of material reality, because that's what our experience here is. But the truth is that reality is changing all the time. That's why I preach saying you can change your reality. All you have to do, which is not simple by any means, is to try to disconnect yourself from what is now, because that limits you to create any reality. You cannot believe. Right?
Yeah. So you know what I did last night? Because I've been testing this, because I was like, am I creating all of that? And if I am, that's profoundly powerful. Like, that's crazy. So I've been kind of I guess you did that vlog about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. So what I've been doing is I've kind of been testing it on my own, and I can't believe the amount of manifestations, I guess, I've been having. I'll give you an example. So I did this last night, and I want to know what you think of this. So last night I went to bed excited for this talk today. And I said to myself, so in the mornings, I wake up at 4 a.m. because I do a lot of my studying in the morning, my writing. It's just quiet, and that's what I do. But last night, when I went to bed, I visualized myself waking up at 4 in the morning, because since you did some vlogs and you talked about live 15 minutes ahead of yourself. So I've been practicing that for a while now. So I saw myself in the morning waking up at 4. But then I also kind of put in my consciousness, I'm gonna turn my alarm off and I'm gonna go back to bed. Okay, so this is a twist. This is a little bit different. So that's exactly, this morning my alarm rang, I turned it off, and I said, oh, I just want 5 minutes, not realizing I had put this in my consciousness last night. So I was like, oh, I just want 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm tired today. So I turned it off and I went back to bed. I fell asleep again. And then at 5:05, this fruit fly came and went in my ear and just woke me up. And I thought, oh, and I was a little bit confused because I had fallen asleep, but then I woke up and it was like 5:10, and I was like, oh, I better get up. I got up, did my thing, did my routine, but I didn't realize that these events had happened until I sat down with my cup of coffee and I started writing, and I thought, oh my goodness, all of this happened. Was that my consciousness? Like, because it feels like it was to me. But how would you describe that? Like a fruit fly just randomly waking me up when I was in full sleep dreaming. I remember the dream that I was having when I was woken up from the dream.
Well, I cannot really give you an explanation because it would be like but again, since you create your own reality, right? So if you think about it and it's your consciousness is there, it will create that situation for you.
Yeah.
But look at it differently, because there is a misconception, and it's global.
Okay.
And this is the biggest, probably one of the, if not one of the biggest obstacles to being able to manifest and to understand. And what it is the separation between physical and metaphysical. People separate, like, manifesting a strawberry right now here on my desk, that's metaphysical. But if I get up and make a cup of coffee, that's physical. Mm-hmm. But in reality, there's no difference. And this is very, very hard to comprehend. This is that line I talk about, that's the line of impossibilities, because we draw that line and we say anything above that line is metaphysical. And, I don't know, I can maybe do it, I cannot do it. It's like, I have no idea how that happens. But anything below that line, like doing stuff that I do every day, like making your cup of coffee or going for a walk or whatever, this is all, you don't count it as a miracle or a metaphysical, but it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just how you classify it. You see, some people, especially children, they can do sometimes things that to us is magic, like really metaphysical stuff. But the child doesn't separate that from doing normal, what we classify normal. And that's why they can do it. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as you classify it as normal, you can do it. You don't have that block. So the first thing is to really try and eliminate that classification, separation of physical and metaphysical, because it's all the same. Okay. At the end of the day, you have a consciousness, mm-hmm. which is all you have. You are a consciousness. Everything else is created by that consciousness. Okay? And whatever is created by that consciousness could be physical, what you call physical or metaphysical. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Right? So, when you ask, like, how did that happen that you were woken up by at 5:05? This is just the same as you want to make your cup of coffee. It's just that it happened. A reality was created. Right?
Yeah.
But it looks to you strange because you didn't do it consciously.
Yeah. And, I was kind of also testing my consciousness a little bit. I wanted to see which aspect of my consciousness is stronger, the habit of getting up at 4 and studying, or can I really turn that clock off and fall asleep? Is it going to be fine? But I guess maybe the habit was stronger. I don't know.
Well, that's already down to you see, the consciousness is basically driving what we call our mind.
Yeah.
Right? So once it gets to the level of the mind has to make all those decisions. And that's how you create reality. Because the consciousness has unlimited power to create reality. But the mind is actually the tool that turns it into practical stuff. And it will only do stuff that it believes it can do. It will not do something it cannot do. Like, you're not going to stand on the roof and jump off the roof and say, I'm going to fly now. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So here's a question. So if the mind does, what it practically thinks that it can do, but consciousness is driving the mind. So, the lag that we have in manifestation. So I think that lag is due to our feelings of just you know, whatever is in our unconscious mind, the lag occurs because we feel like we can't have it or we don't deserve it. But what if when you have conscious, like when intuition hits you, let's say, an intuitive thought comes to you, even if it's not, let's not even talk about metaphysics right now. Like let's just even alchemy. You have this intuition, then you have motion, but then we have thought, which is the air aspect of it. So once you have your intuition, then you have your thought, the manifestation layer, because then afterwards, I just want to show you what I drew out. So here, so we have our intuition, then we have, there's some motion, because that's the fire element. We have some motion, then we have thought, the actual thought, and then time. And this time is what creates our feelings. So I guess my question to you is, you know, when we have kind of intuition come through, and let's say when I say intuition, all I mean is you're not thinking of something and all of a sudden it just comes to your mind's eye. So that forms a thought, obviously. But what if without any feeling, you go ahead and you follow that thought through? So for example, you're driving home from work, and normally you always take a right to get onto the bridge. But this time, you just have this sense of take a left, and you don't even think about it, but you go ahead and take a left. And then once you kind of get home, you avoided a 5-hour wait on the bridge because there was an accident. So is that time lag in manifestation due to our feelings that we haven't dealt with? What if there was no feelings involved and we just went from intuition to thought? Do you think manifestation would be quicker?
Well, it depends on your personality. You see people like Donald Trump who have no feelings. Somebody like Donald Trump has no feelings. Like it's hard to believe, but they have no feelings. If they see somebody dies, their mind would be, what did I lose? Like, is there any problem here for my business or anything? Like, they think a different way. And not because they are bad people. It's a personality, and personalities are not by choice. You know, I say every morning in the sky, there is a big lottery there. And everybody born that day gets their personality. And there is absolutely no human control over that lottery. It's the most random thing that can happen. So, you know, if your personality is like Donald Trump, for example, or people that have no emotions, no feelings, then yes, it works. It goes straight from your thought and you can manifest it and it will work. But if you are a personality like somebody who is extremely connected, sensitive, spiritual, blah, that actually the emotions, the feelings control everything, then no, it's not going to work. It has to go through that mechanism, right? So it depends if you have it or you don't have it. It's like, you know, a bad person, like a really cruel bad person who does something really bad, like injures say an animal or kills somebody, they don't have any bad feeling about it. And that's why they are never punished. Because the punishment comes from your own feelings of regret and guilt and all that. But if you don't have that, the universe is not going to punish you because you create your own reality and your own punishment. So the same goes for this kind of manifestation. If you have no feelings or emotions, and I always go back to Hitler, then it's easier for them because they believe in everything that they want to do. They believe 100%. They don't have any doubts or feelings or this or that. It's a very black and white thing. So if they can turn it from black to white, it's done. They don't have anything to stop it. Right? We do, because we have all these layers and layers of emotions and feelings, and all that comes into account. And that's why in reality transurfing it says you have to unite the heart with the mind, because that layer, you know, otherwise it's in the way. It's not going to let you do it.
Yeah. So do you, what are your thoughts on karma then?
What do you mean by karma? I know, like in your words.
So my thoughts on what I think karma is.
You mean chance?
I guess Yeah, I guess so. Like, for example, for me, karma is your own inside emotions, like you just described. If you feel more, if you're a more feelings person, you feel more guilt, that's your own karma. Outside of yourself, for example, I feel like my son is my karma because I worry about him. And like, that's how I feel like my family has been my karma, because all my biggest learning lessons, they're my mirrors, and they're there for me to see myself. And that's given me growth. That's how I've grown. That's kind of how I see karma.
So, no, but tell me, what is karma?
Karma is your level of happiness or suffering on each side.
So it's your position, like how happy you are?
Maybe, yeah.
Because I know karma, everybody has a different meaning for karma.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's say that that's a measurement of your happiness. And what's the question?
So what are your thoughts on karma then?
Well, I look at it more from a big picture perspective. So I'm saying, if you want to find out what makes you happy, you have to find out what is your purpose. Mm-hmm. Because if you fulfill your purpose, and I don't mean a purpose like everybody individually, there is a higher purpose, right? There is a reason why this reality exists and why humans are here. This is not, I don't, again, that's very subjective. Some people think otherwise, but I don't think this is random or just happened that some chemicals got mixed up and from the smoke, there was a bacteria created. I don't believe that. And I don't believe it not because I'm religious. To the contrary, I don't believe it because I'm too logical. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it's not because I believe in some other. It's just when I observe things, it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I say if we are here, then some kind of a higher intelligence or higher something created that for a purpose. So the next step is I'm trying to get into the mind of that intelligence and see, okay, if I was that intelligence and I created this, why? What's the purpose? Okay. And when I do that exercise and I start to think from the perspective of, call it God, okay, that's what people call it, then I see everything in a different way, right? Because now my ideas and my concepts and everything is basically meaningless, right? It's like you have a monkey in a cage and the monkey maybe has all these plans, but the monkey is in the cage and you have the key. So it doesn't matter what the monkey thinks or plans, or it's totally irrelevant. It's only relevant to the monkey, right? So looking at it that way, I'm saying, well, if that intelligence created this reality, it's because it's trying to find a way to experience a reality that it cannot experience by itself. It's not possible, okay? And again, going on the very, very top, it means that intelligence is looking for us to continuously create new experiences. Mm-hmm. That's what it wants, okay? So people that look for stability, predictability, all that, they are not fulfilling the purpose of the creator, call it, right? And if they don't, they basically get shifted out of here. Because this universe is not, has no, how can I say, it doesn't work by feelings, it works by purpose. If something is not necessary anymore, it goes away. Same as the dinosaurs, for example. They fulfilled the purpose because initially the programmer, God, was playing with big things, very crude, and slowly refined it. And then the dinosaurs became, like a nuisance. They weren't necessary. Okay, they're gone. How they are gone, this is up to reality. It creates always a situation that to us looks like it's natural. Okay, there was this, meteor or whatever that felt, and it doesn't matter. And the same will happen to all the wild animals. All wildlife will disappear. And it's not because people destroyed the environment. This is just the way of executing it. the reason the wildlife is going to disappear is because they stopped fulfilling a purpose in this reality. You see, in the old days, animals were very involved in human reality. Yeah. They were doing the work, they were doing the providing the food. They were actually involved in everyday experiences. People used to fight the animals and kill them and get killed by them and so on and so on. So it was an integral part of human reality. It was integral part of the show. But today it's gone because humans evolved. The animals didn't evolve. Mm-hmm. They stay the same because they don't have a consciousness per se. They are more like backdrop people. Like I know this Dolores Cannon calls them, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can see that the dog usually will copy the character of the owner. Mm-hmm. You look at the dog, it will always be like the owner, character-wise, because they don't have their own. They don't have a personality. So the animals, for example, give it another 20, 30 years, there will be no wildlife, except in reserves and in zoo maybe. And it's not, again, like I said, it's not because of any other reason. It's just because they don't fulfill the purpose anymore. Next, okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, it also applies to people. People that are not going to evolve and just continuously look after, stability and have enough money so I can retire and they will get shifted out. Yeah. And again, it's nothing to do with the love and this is all a very pragmatic purpose of the creator. Yeah. Not that the creator sits there and does it. It's how this whole thing is programmed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for you to be happy, going back to karma, I went through this whole thing. You have to continuously reinvent yourself. If you don't, you're not going to be happy. And you know what it's like? When your children were small, and let's say you bought a puzzle, like a paper puzzle, So once you do the puzzle with them, what are you going to do with the puzzle?
Get rid of it.
That's exactly, you take it apart.
Take it apart, sorry.
Yeah, and then you do it again in a week or in a day, right? Yep. And this is what life is all about. If you put the puzzle together of anything you do, you put it together and you leave it to enjoy it, you're not going to be happy. You will get sick. Life is not going to be good for you. You have to take it apart. So if you created some kind of a business or a company and you sold it, now you have lots of money. If you go and just relax, then you are doomed. You have to start another one. Do something.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the answer on the karma.
Okay.
You have to fulfill the higher purpose. Otherwise, you're not going to survive here.
It's really interesting you say that because I feel like we are taught so much that where you have to, we have to work for people. Jobs are so important. And I'm giving you this example because I just recently went through, people are looking for purpose and what is their purpose? And, they're always looking outside of themselves. Then they start looking inside of themselves, like what makes me happy? And my personal example with that, because I did that for a long time, was I thought, oh, maybe my purpose and my value, I come from academia, is to go back into academia and start at different leadership positions. Maybe that's what I need to do. And so I started doing that, but I kept denying the fact that I enjoy this, what we're doing right now. And we're talking about consciousness. I love this. And when I'm making my little mind maps and doing this kind of work and self-inquiry, I enjoy it so much, but I was never taught that that could be my value. That could be my purpose. I always thought my purpose was the value that I made in money back. And coming to this point in my life where I find my purpose and happiness, and then I started realizing, you know what? Maybe me talking about consciousness and living a fulfilled life and all of this kind of stuff, it's fun for me. Maybe I should do more of that instead of running away from it and chasing academia. So is that kind of what you're talking about when you talk about life purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And, I don't have to tell you, you see what makes you happy. Right? Because when you explore, when you get into this kind of things, it's infinite. There's so much to explore, right? And this is what your purpose is to explore all these things. The more you explore, the better. The more you will get rewarded. Your health will be better. You will be happy. You see, people say, oh, if you are happy, then you don't get sick. It's true, but it's not because you are happy. It's because of what you do to be happy. You have to go a few steps back. Don't look at the end result, right? What causes these things? And I'll tell you another thing that's very important for you, especially since you brought the academia, right? Academia, science, practicality, common sense. All these things go in kind of the same color, right? And, going back into quantum physics, the central rule of what scientists found over the last 150 years is the uncertainty principle. Okay? At the end of the day, and that's what Einstein didn't want to accept. He said it cannot be that God is playing roulette or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. The uncertainty principle rules everything. It has to be that way, because if it wasn't uncertain, we would disappear. We couldn't exist. If we knew everything that's going to happen, everybody would commit suicide. Like, there's no purpose, no interest in life, right? Mm-hmm. The only interest is because you don't know. Like, why were you excited last night? Because you didn't know what's going to happen. But if you knew exactly what we're going to say, every word, it wouldn't be exciting anymore, right? So the uncertainty principle applies in every area in our lives. And why I'm saying that is because people that come from academia, and I talked to a few hundred people by now since the beginning of the year, just from my website that people come to talk to me, to Talk for Life. And, when you talk to so many people on this kind of issues, you learn quite a bit about how people think. And what I find is that I feel probably the majority of the people in the world believe that there is some kind, including yourself, because you have those diagrams, you believe that there is some kind of a technique or some kind of something that I can figure out with my logical mind as a scientist or as a physicist or whatever. And once I figure that out, I got it. I am God now. Well, comes the uncertainty principles, tells you, what? No, there is no such thing. If you try to find any kind of a technique, it's not going to work. You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You see? Because at the end of the day, and you know it because you have both sides, at the end of the day, it happens in such a way that you can never explain it. It just happens somehow, like that Messiah thing. Go explain it, right? So, like, if you created a program, let's take that as an example, like that Messiah on the license plate. So let's say that a month before that, I would say to you, what? I want you to create a process that should happen. How would you do it?
I don't know. I'd probably visualize it. And like you said, I'd start putting strategy to it or something.
Yeah, but it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. Yeah.
No, because you see, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's the uncertainty principle. And whether we like it or not, we are not masters of, we create reality, but we are not masters of how to create it.
Yeah.
That uncertainty principle will always come in just like a stick you put into into the spokes of a bike. It will always come in and ruin it for it. It's just, you have to figure out a way, just like they did in quantum physics, because in quantum physics, they can estimate where the particle will be at a certain time. What's the highest, statistically, the highest chance for the particle to be at a given time? Not exactly, but you can do the same thing. You can bring it to a high level of probability, but you cannot make it for sure. It's not possible. So any of those diagrams, you know, doesn't work.
So I just ripped them up.
There you go. Yeah, it doesn't. And you know, it's a problem because what happens from my experience, I find that the books like Reality Transurfing or Neville Goddard, you know, The Secret and all these other things, they have very good intentions, but they're actually causing lots of suffering. Yeah. Why? Because you see, people believe that in those books, there is the technique, how to manifest something, right? And to be honest, I don't think anybody succeeds to do what the book says. So what happens is, because these people don't talk among themselves, they believe that it's only them that don't succeed. So now they start to feel stupid, incapable, and so on and so on. And it actually puts them in a very bad mood. Because they come to me and they say, look, you know, I read this Reality Transurfing 20 times, and I cannot manifest, you know, $1 million. So what's wrong with me? Because when they say what's wrong with me, it implies that they believe that other people are doing it. But it's not. You see, the only one that can actually do it, if at all, is the author of the book. Because they have a certain personality that works with the system that they present in the book. But it doesn't work for other people, because that's a very unique personal thing. Everybody creates reality and does things in their own unique way. This is where the uncertainty thing comes. So if I write a book and I go into details like Reality Transurfing, it's wrong. If I say it in a big framework, it's okay. Like if I say, look, God wants you to be creative, well, that's okay. But if I say, look, you have to touch your nose and pull your ear and you'll get a husband, well, that's wrong, right?
Yeah. You know what? That's such a great topic, what you just said. Can you please think about making a vlog about that? That is so true, what you just said about the creating suffering from your learning, like what you've learned or read, because yeah, then you try and apply it and when it doesn't work. I've been through that. I can totally relate to what you just said.
Well, that's, you know, that's, I'm saying, because I talk to people and I see what bothers them. And then I tell them what I just told you, and it kind of takes away a really heavy weight off their neck.
Yeah.
Because they realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm not an idiot. Everybody is an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? It's, you know, look, at the end of the day, you have to realize that you know, everybody wants to be like God in a way that they can create anything they want and do everything they want and so on and so on and so on. But what they don't realize is that God already was there and he didn't like it. So why do you want to go there? God came back here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was there. He was there. He could do anything. But that wasn't very satisfying. So God created this reality, and you want to run away from this reality and go to where God used to be? It doesn't work. It may sound very disappointing, but that's how it is. You have to enjoy, you know, because you are part of that. You are a segment of that consciousness called God. And the only thing you're going to enjoy is this. You will not enjoy where you can do everything and anything, and you will not enjoy it anymore.
Yeah. So you know what I'm taking away from this just right now? I mean, I'm going to watch this over and over and over and over again because like I said, I always get so much information from your vlogs, and that's just what I do. When I'm cooking, I usually have you on and I'm listening, and I just, you know, take in whatever information I need.
Must make the food really good.
I do actually. But you know what I'm taking in from this is that life is about constant change. It has everything to do with your personality. And when you were saying that, what I thought about, you know how I said happiness, karma's happiness, and suffering. That's why maybe it's important to be in the middle, to be just a balance, you know. So I took that in. And thirdly, yeah, what you said in the beginning, we can create anything, but it's a process, not a process, because that's not a word I want to use, because
Yeah,
what
it
you were saying, we want
becomes
to create
scientific.
processes in our mind. Yeah, not in that sense, but we are the creators when we look around of everything, and that is extremely powerful. And it feels like it's with your personality type and also how much balance you have in life, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? What are your top 3 things you want people to take away?
Well, you see, my purpose in everything I'm doing right now, and it took me time to understand what my purpose is, right? I mean, now I'm talking about the personal purpose.
Okay.
Is that I want to bring together the people that have the ability to connect and to understand the higher level of this reality. And I would say probably somewhere between 10 and 30% of people in the world can do that, just in my estimate. I want to bring all these people together and have them create the reality for the whole world. Because right now it's the other way around. Mm-hmm. See, right now, the reality is created by these background people. Trump is, for example, right? Or Biden, or any of these people, or the Chinese guy, Z, or whatever his name, right? They are machines. They are machines. They have no emotions, no feelings, nothing. They just like go, everything for them is the process, winning, you know, and these people have to get off the stage. And the minority, the people that can actually understand, say what I'm saying, they should come on the stage and they should rule the world. Yeah. Because that will change reality completely for everybody. And the people that today are at the top of the pyramid will go to the bottom, just like the dinosaurs, and they will get shifted out because they have no more, you see, up until this era of our time, God was shaking the tree to create activity by seeding conflict. Because if you look at the Bible, like the original, you know, the Old Testament, if you look there, you can see that God continuously seeding conflict. Mm-hmm. On one hand, he's teaching people to be very, what's the word? Like, you know, to behave in a way that is human, like, you know, be kind, give to the poor, and all this. But on the other hand, it's creating conflict in the big picture. It says, you know, you have to go and kill all your enemies. Don't leave anybody alive. You are, you know, once you get into the country, like if you look at the Old Testament in the Torah, it says, you know, once you get to the land of Israel, you make sure that you don't leave anybody alive, children, women. You have to kill everybody, because if you leave them, they will become a problem for you in the future generations, and so on and so on and so on. Mm. And this was mainly because it's a paradox, and the paradox was mainly to create activity, but without destroying yourself. Mm. Without destroying the world or destroying yourself, just that was the way of creating activity, by conflict. And keep in mind that good and bad from God's perspective is not the good and bad that we have here. It's different. Now, we arrived at a time when that doesn't work anymore. You cannot seed conflicts anymore. It doesn't work. It served its purpose. It was a tremendous success from God's perspective, okay? But now it's finished. Now there's going to be a different way to shake that tree to create activity, and that is by consciousness, by understanding what God is, by connecting to the collective consciousness, by manifesting. This will be the next frontier. Mm. And the people that don't have the ability to do it, they cannot learn, because people are born with a personality. They will be shifted out, like I said, just like the dinosaurs. And this is where we are going right now. So my purpose, the way I feel it, is to bring these people together, because right now they are not together. Mm-hmm. Have them understand what it's all about, and have them take an active part in creating that reality, because God is not going to do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the game. We have to do it. And that's why I have the channel, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. And I think the ultimate thing I'm doing is I'm writing this book, and there I will bring enough energy and enough knowledge to actually for this to happen. Because to empower the people that can do that, you have to show them also some evidence. It's not enough to talk. At the end of the day, even the most spiritual person, is not going to cross the road and without looking to the side, make sure that there's no cars coming, right? So, it just so happens that we are in physical bodies and we cannot just be totally. So I'm going to bring that knowledge, which I didn't disclose yet, and that I think will over time, it will do the trick.
I'm excited. I can't wait till that book comes out. I will be the first one to purchase it. I'm very excited for it because it's such a, like I said, it just makes sense to me. And that's why when I watch your channel, the reason I watched all your videos probably in the time span of 3 days when I first kind of found you on YouTube was because there was something that you were saying that resonated inside me. And I loved, like I said, the practical, that it's not all like, oh, God and angels, it's you, it's your conscience. I like that you take responsibility. You take responsibility for everything, basically. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for doing what you do. I really truthfully.
Well, I do it for my own, at the end of the day, whatever we do because it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I enjoy it tremendously, which is great because I do what I like, and and I enjoy it because of the feedback I get.
Yeah.
I get amazing feedback from people, and that makes me happy. And this is a karma, right? And then I can keep doing it because it's perfect. It's exactly like, I create the change, but I enjoy it.
Oh, I love this. Well, if I could give you a big virtual hug.
There you go.
Right? I
all the way from Surrey.
Yeah, all the way from Surrey. I really enjoyed this, and hopefully we could do it again, because as you were talking, there's some things that I was thinking that I'm doing, because I'm constantly, not testing. I guess my awareness is just higher now since I've been really being like, that was me, I did it, I created that, I created that, I created that. So I'm thinking outside of the box of the metaphysics now. I'm kind of starting to, but I like what you said about the practical. This is still the capacity of my mind. So, yeah, let's just see how this goes, and maybe we can have another conversation in a month or so, just to catch up.
But give me some feedback before that. Tell me what you think of, because this conversation will do some things to you.
Okay. Absolutely.
Let me know.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll end the recording, but I'm going to give you a quick call back, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.